Today we'll be speaking about the Ten Commandments. Was the movie right or not? So let's take a look at the picture with Charlton Heston. Can you read? It's Greek to me. Can you read that, Chava? It looks like it's Greek to me. Was the movie correct? I need the papers back, so please don't write on them. So was the movie correct? What script did God use to write the Ten Commandments? If you have the other paper in front of you, you see that the ancient script is nothing like the script that we have today. So which one is it? Was Cecil B. DeMille correct? Okay? Which Alef Bet did God use to write the Ten Commandments? Which Alef Bet did God use to write the Ten Commandments? That's the question we're going to deal with, Rabbi Yaakov. And Pashas Kisisa, the Torah tells us, Luchot Even, tablets of stone, Tuvim be'etzba Elohim, written with the finger of God, V'hamichtav, Michtav Elohim. And the writing, Reb Ruvain, was the writing of God. The $64 question is, which writing was it? Was it Ksav Ivri or was it Ksav Ashurit? Did Cecil B. DeMille get it right in the picture of Charlton Heston? You'll be surprised. It looks like he got it right. And he wasn't even Jewish. So let's take a look at our paper, this sheet. Let's turn it over to the other side. This paper, you see the different Hebrew scripts. So let's try to understand what's going on. What's going on? So the other side is a Tractate Sanhedrin. Tractate Sanhedrin Chof Aleph. Strange Gemara. What does the Gemara tell us there? Yehuda, you see that? Right. What does the tell us there? Omar Mar Zutra. Let's read it in English, it'll go faster. Mar Zutra said that what? At first, Betchila. What does Betchila mean, Reb Ruvain? In the beginning, on Shavuos, no? Nitna Torah Yisrael. B'ksav Ivri Loshen HaKodesh. I'll read the Hebrew first. In the beginning, the first time, God gave us the Torah B'ksav Ivri. What Ksav Ivri? The way Cecil B. DeMille has it. B'Loshen HaKodesh. Chaza B'nitna Lehem B'Yemei Ezra. Then, we got the Torah second time B'Yemei Ezra, B'Ksav Ashurit, B'Loshen Aramit. You hear? So Mazitra tells us the Torah is given to Israel first in the Ksav Ivri. I'm reading the English, the ancient Hebrew squiggly script. It was presented to them again in the days of Ezra in Ksav Ashuris. What Ksav Ashuris? The way we have it today. Right? And in the Aramaic language, the language of the Targum, which was the language spoken by the masses of Jews during the Babylonian exile. The Jewish people chose for themselves the Ashura script and the Holy Tongue, and left the ancient Hebrew squiggly script to Aramaic for the mundane people. Who are the mundane people? Rav Chizda said the Kuthites. Who are the Kuthites? The Samaritans. A good Samaritan, Chava? What's the ancient Hebrew script? Rav Chizda says Libunah. What does Libunah mean? Rashi says Otiyot Gedolot, but Rabbeinu Tam says Ksav Mishuneh. What does Ksav Mishuneh mean? Strange script. It looks pretty strange to me, Mikivia. I can't read this. That's pretty strange. So the Talmud is making a shocking statement, Yehuda, that the original Ten Commandments were given what? In the Ksav Mishuneh, in the strange script, and who changed the original what? Torah script. Very strange that the original Torah script was what? Was changed by Ezra about 2,400 years ago. The Talmud is telling us that Ezra changed what? The script about 2,400 years ago. And why is it called Ksav Ashuris? That's the script of the Assyrian Empire, of the Persian Empire, where the Jews were in the days of Ezra. Until then, the script used was the Ksav Ivri, as you see in the picture with Charlton Heston, the ancient Hebrew script, and it's totally different than what? Than our script. Ksav Ivri is totally different than our Ksav Ashuris that we have today. So the tablets containing the Ten Commandments were inscribed, what? Not in the same script that we have. They were inscribed in Ksav Ivrit. It would mean that the script that we now use is totally different than the one that God, what? Wrote the Ten Commandments. That's pretty shocking for many reasons. Because number one, the Talmud tells us in Menachos 29 that God was attaching crowns to the sacred letters. God was attaching crowns. And if you take a look, the ancient script ain't got no crowns. Right, Avram? The ancient script ain't got no crowns. And the crowns are only on our script. So what does the Talmud say? Moses saw God attaching crowns to the letters of the Ten Commandments.
Wasn't that later?
What? No, Moses went up to heaven to get the Torah. Only our Ksav Ashuris has those crowns, not the ancient Hebrew script. So what's going on over here? And number two, can it be that the very script that God used to write the Ten Commandments was pushed aside by the Jewish people and given to the Samaritans? Why would we want to do a thing like that? Isn't that bizarre, Ruvain? Bizarre, to say the least.
And I
Go
have
ahead.
another question, too.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask before, but I'll ask it now. There are certain letters, they say they were held up miraculously. God
Ruvain,
just changes with the script.
you must have ESP. That's my next question. Rav Chizda teaches that the Samach and the Mem of the tablets remained in place only through a miracle, because the middle sections of those letters remained suspended in midair. Tractate Shabbos 104. In ancient Hebrew, however, the Mem and the Samach are not circular letters. What? The ayin is, right? The ancient Hebrew letters that are completely enclosed is an ayin, which is a circle, and a dalid, if you take a look, and a dalid, which is what? A triangle. Help, what's going on? Right?
Wow.
So, for Achizda to say in Sanhedrin that the Torah was given in ancient Hebrew is a direct contradiction of his own view, Reb Ruvain, that what? That the Samach and the Mem were fully enclosed letters. Because the fully enclosed letters of a Mem and a Samach are only in our script, not in the ancient script. The ancient script, the ayin is what? A circle. And the daled is a triangle. So I'm mixed up over here, Mikimi. I'm pretty mixed up. The 22 sacred letters of our Hebrew alphabet are full of mystical lessons. Can it be that all of these teachings were absent from the Jewish people during the period from what? From Moshe to Ezra?
Looks like we have five
Huh?
letters. We have 5 missing letters in the original.
So what's it all about?
Where's the Reish?
Rabbi Akiva learns many halachot. Rabbi Akiva in Tractate Menachot 29, Reb Ruvain, learns many halachot from the crowns that are found only in what? In our script, not in Charlton Heston's script.
How did he get that script?
Who, Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
Well, that's...
Go ahead, Mr. Study Hebrew. Here's
It's just amazing that the guys did plenty of research, because according to the Talmud here, Reb Ruvain, this was the original script that God wrote on the Ten Commandments.
The rabbi.
So the rabbi who made the movie, they consulted.
No.
How do they know, right? So it's pretty amazing. But the question is, what about the crowns on the letters? These ain't got no crowns.
Rabbi?
So let me get to the punchline. You want to ask or what?
Well, I was going to ask about
Go ahead. What's it all about?
Maybe because there are 2 sets of tablets?
Oh, Ruvain, you gave away the punchline. I might as well go home right now. Ruvain let the cat out of the bag. Evelyn, you hear this? I won't repeat what he said. This way you'll go home.
I know what he said.
Don't say what he said. Ruvain, don't steal my thunder.
We'll all zip our lips.
We'll zip the lip, okay? Okay, let me talk. You're right, but how did we get there? Okay, let's talk. Okay, can we talk? Anyway, the Talmud tells us that there's a pasuk in Parshas Shaitim, It says, the Kosav law at Mishnah HaTorah. You shall write the Mishnah HaTorah. What does Mishnah HaTorah mean? Sanhedrin 22 says, Ksav shehoya b'mei Moshe nishtaneh. Sanhedrin 22. The script that was in the days of Moshe, Yehuda, you know Hebrew now, nishtaneh. What does nishtaneh mean? Al Yidei Ezra. The script that Moses had was going to be changed by Ezra. Pretty amazing. Ksav aroyel ishtanot. Ezra lived in the days of what? Purim, Megillah Esther. Kimu v'kiblu ha-Yehudim. The Jews accepted the Torah again, Rabbi Yaakov, voluntarily in the days of Esther and Mordechai. Who was their contemporary? Ezra. So to symbolize the new Kabbalah Satorah, Avram, of Purim, Ezra introduced what? A new alphabet. Hey, a new alphabet. To symbolize the new Kabbalah Satorah on Purim, we received a new script, Ksav Ashuris. You hear? So why is it called Ksav Ashuris? So Ezra introduced this new script. He was authorized to do so by a pasuk in Deuteronomy 17, Mishnah HaTorah, Ksav Shehoy Bei Moshe Nishtaneh Al Yidei Ezra. So he was authorized to do that, to symbolize what? A new Kabbalah Satorah under Ezra and Mordechai and Esther. It's called Ashuris because it went up with the Jewish people from where? Yehuda, from where did it go up from the Jewish people? It went up from Ezra, from Ashur to Eretz Yisrael. So therefore it's called what? It's called Ksav Ashuris. Okay? That's Rabbi Yossi's opinion and Mar Zutra. When you have two Jews, you have what? 4 opinions.
What about the tags?
Rabbi disagrees. Rabbi holds that our Ashuris script that we have was the original sacred script that the Torah was given to Israel and remained for many centuries. But at the end of the first temple period, the people began sinking into idolatry, says Rabbi, and other sins which eventually brought about the Churban and the exile. When that happened, says Rabbi, the people were no longer worthy to use our Ksav Ashuris with its great Kedusha. As a result, God caused Israel to forget the noble original script and to invent the mundane Ksav Ivri, the ancient squiggly, strange Hebrew script. So they continued to use Ksav Ivri until Ezra reintroduced Ksav Ashuris as a symbol of the new Kabbalah Satorah in the days of Ezra and Mordechai. According to Rebbe, the word Ashuris has nothing to do with Assyria. Why would we name our script after what? Saddam Hussein. So damn insane. Ashur. No, Rebbe says that the word Ashuris, Lama Nikva Shemo Ashuris, says Rebbe, Shemusheres Biksav. Why is it called what? Ashur, from the word Mu'ushar, exalted. And the Rambam explains in the commentary to Mishnah tractate Yedayim, the name implies glory and status. From the word Ashrei, the word Ashuris, Yehud, has nothing to do with what? With Ashur, it comes from the word Ashrei. What does Ashrei mean? Exalted. Exalted and fortunate. Okay. And that's what the Rambam says. So the Rambam agrees with Rebbe that the original script that Cecil B. DeMille was wrong. And the original script was what? Was Ashuris. Why is it called Ashur, Yehuda? From the word Ashrei. What does Ashrei mean? Exalted and fortunate, the beautiful script. Okay, so what happened? So where did the squiggly script come in? Where did it come from? Okay, stay tuned. I hope you forgot Ruvain's comment, I hope.
Wait a minute.
Because I don't want to go home now.
But I deleted it.
Okay. Let me finish and then we'll talk, okay?
I'm confused though.
Good, so am I. I'm also confused. Let me get to the punchline here. So the Rambam rules accordingly that the word Ashurut has nothing to do with Assyrian. It's the exalted script that God gave us. But towards the end of the Chur of Bayis Rishon, the Jews had sunk to such immorality and idolatry that God made them forget the exalted script with the crowns. And as a punishment, he told us to use this squiggly Mishuneh script. But in the days of Ezra, what did Ezra do, Yehuda? To celebrate the new Kabbalat Torah, in the days of Ezra and Mordechai, God says it's time to reintroduce what? What we had in the beginning. Let's go back to the future. Okay? So therefore, the Ksav Ashuris originated in Assyria? No. According to the Rambam's accepted opinion, our script is the original, and all of the Kiddush is associated with the Torah script from the beginning. Okay? But we still have to understand what Mar Zutra is saying. Mar Zutra and Rabbi Yossi say that no. So we know when two rabbis, Ruvain, disagree, Elu v'elu divrei Elohim chayim. How could they both write? One Tana says God's original script was what? Charlton Heston. And the other Tana says, forget about it. God's original script was what? Our script. Otherwise, what is God putting crowns on? There ain't no crowns on Charlton Heston's tablets, are they? No. So how do we get to the bottom of this? So let's look at Mar Zutra again. Let's read Mar Zutra again very carefully, Yehuda. You have Mar Zutra again? Let's read him again. Okay? Mar Zutra said, the Torah was given to Israel in Ksav Ivri. How come he has to stress the word the Torah was given to Israel? Who else was it given to? Don't we know the Torah is given to Israel? Mar Zutra said the Torah was given to Israel in Ksav Ivri. He refers only to the Torah scrolls that were intended for general use. He does not say the Torah is given in Ksav Ivri. He says the Torah is given to Israel in Ksav Ivri, which implies that God used that script. No. Rather, Mar Zutra adds the phrase to Israel. To Israel, meaning what? What do you mean to Israel? Implying that only the Torah scrolls of the general population were in Ivri. Mar Zutra would agree that our Ksav Ashuris, Yehuda, was the original script of the tablets. And that's the holy tablets that God gave. But the rest of the Jews were using like a script. So we would say print and script. The print was the original tablets, but the Jewish people were using a script. You hear? So why is that? So when Mar Zutra speaks of Ksav Ashuris originating in Assyria, he refers to the fact it was reintroduced to Israel by Ezra in Assyria after centuries that we didn't use it again, as a symbol of what? Of the new Kabbalah Torah that the Jewish people had received in the days of what? Of Ezra. So, and this explains that the word Ashur doesn't mean we got it from Ashur, because if we say we got it from Ashur, how come the Assyrians couldn't read the handwriting on the wall? Remember the handwriting on the wall? If it's the ancient Ashur script, how come they couldn't read it? They had to call Daniel to decipher it. So we see it's not their script. It was a script that was brought up from Ashur, but actually it's the exalted script. And when the Jewish people were sinning, God made us forget that exalted script and what? And use that what?
The squiggly stuff.
The squiggly stuff. Okay? So that seems to be that we're what? We solved the problem. But that's Talmud Bavli, Yehuda. If you look at the Talmud Yerushalmi, the Radbaz points out, the Rebbe of the Ari, if you look in Talmud Yerushalmi Megillah, chapter 1, that says that Ksav Ivri is the original Torah script, and it was the ayin of the tablets whose middle was suspended in midair. So we're back to the problem. Look at the ayin. The Bavli says it was the mem and the samach suspended. The Bavli says the mem and the samach, that would be Yehuda, the other paper. The mem and the samach would be our script. But the Talmud Yerushalmi says no. Which letter was suspended miraculously? The ayin. The ayin is only a full circular what? In the ancient script. Where's the ayin here? You see the ayin? A circle. 70. So according to the Radvaz and the Talmud Yerushalmi, Ksav Ivri is the script that the Torah was written originally, and it was the ayin of the tablets that was suspended miraculously in midair. The ayin of Ksav Ivri is a circle, completely closed. So according to the Yerushalmi, therefore, even the tablets were inscribed what? Looks like Charlton Heston was right.
This looks very proud.
Huh? Looks like Charlton Heston was right. I'm all mixed up, Mekimia. I'm all shook
All
up.
mixed up.
I'm all mixed up.
Rabbi, you know what I say?
What?
Take 2 tablets and call me in the morning.
Take 2 tablets and call me in the morning. Ooh. All right. So according to Yerushalmi, we're back where we started from. Right? So according to Yerushalmi, this is the original script. What about the crowns? There ain't no crowns here. Yes, the ayin is a circle, and that was what? Suspended miraculously. So where are we over here? We're lost. But Ruvain was mechavein to the Radvaz. Make my day, Ruvain. Ruvain was mechavein. You know what the Radvaz was, Evelyn? The Rebbe of the Ari. He lived to be 104 years. In 1550 he died.
Wow.
So Ruvain is mechavein to him. He says a beautiful explanation. It's true, he says, that the first tablets were inscribed in our Ksav Ashuris. The first tablets were our alphabet from the word Ashrei, the exalted script, Yiddish Yehuda. But after we sinned with the golden calf, the nation was no longer worthy to receive the second tablets written in the exalted script from the word Ashrei. Therefore, when God gave the second tablets, when? On Yom Kippur, he inscribed them in what? Ksav Ivri. So Cecil B. DeMille is right.
No, he was bringing on the first.
How do you know? So according to Radvaz, the first tablets were written in Ksav Ashrei, the exalted script that we have with all the crowns, and Rabbi Kiva saw God putting the crowns on, Menachos page 29, and that's the original exalted script. But when the Jews worshipped the golden calf, we had descended to such a low status, we were no longer worthy to get the Ksav Ashrei. So the second tablets, as Ruvain was mechavein, the second tablets God inscribed in Ksav Ivri. So this resolves all the problems. It's true, the original script of Kedusha was the Ashrei script, from the word Ashur, Ashrei, exalted. It was the first tablets, and all the people, God gave it to Moshe Rabbeinu, and the leaders of the generation knew the script. In the first tablets, the center of the Mem and the Samach, Yehuda, if you look at the picture, the center of the Mem and the Samach are what? Enclosed, and that's taka, a miracle. In the second script, what's enclosed? The ayin, right? So therefore what? Therefore what? There is no what? Contradiction. Let's sum it up and then we'll ask questions.
Assuming that he knew.
What? The Radvaz says as follows. He makes peace between the Yerushalmi and the Bavli. The Radvaz says that the first tablets, that when God spoke the 10 Commandments on Shavuos, and Moses went up to get them, was inscribed in what? Ksav Ashuris, in the Ashrei beautiful script that we have. But after Israel sinned with the golden calf, the nation was no longer worthy, Rabbi Yaakov, of receiving tablets written in the exalted Ashrei script. Just as it could no longer receive them directly from God, the first tablets were given directly by God. But the second tablets were given only to whom? To Moshe.
And he had chiseled them himself.
So therefore, when God gave the second tablets to Israel, only Moshe was present to demonstrate the spiritual decline of the Jewish people after the golden calf. So therefore, the second tablets God inscribed in what? In Charlton Heston script.
Without tabs.
The original. So the original script was Ksav Ashuris. Ashuris, R-square, beautiful script with the crowns, meaning elevated and exalted, as the Rambam paskins in the Mishnah Yadayim. Ashuris means exalted and fortunate. Ashuris is derived from the word Ashrei, meaning what, Yehuda? Exalted and fortunate. So our Ashuris was the first script that God engraved on the first tablets and was transmitted to the leaders of all the generations in a chain of tradition from Moses until Ezra. But the Yidden had forgotten it because we got the second tablets with the squiggly script. So Ezra retaught it again, reintroduced it again to all the people. According to Gemara Sanhedrin 22, the Jews became so sinful that by the destruction of the first temple, God caused us to forget the exalted script until Ezra what? Retaught us the Alef Bet of Ashuris. Because when we accepted the Torah again in the days of what? We forget that Ezra and Mordechai and Esther were what? Contemporaries. Kimu v'kiblu ha-Yehudim. It says in Megillas Esther, there was a new Kabbalah HaTorah in the days of Ezra and Mordechai and Esther. Ezra was like a second Moses. To demonstrate our spiritual what? Awareness and heightened spirituality when we got the Torah anew, unlike the first time we were forced, this time we accepted voluntarily. So therefore, God allowed Ezra to what? To go back to the future. To go back to the future. Now we are what? Worthy again to receive the exalted first tablets, first alphabet, because this time we accepted the Torah anew in the days of Mordechai and Esther and Ezra. It's interesting. Who was the leader of world Jewry? What happened to Mordechai and Esther? Rivka. How come they're pushed aside? And who takes over? Ezra. The answer is because Mordechai and Esther remained in in Babylon, Long Island, Nebuch, Shushan. Ezra took over because he came to Pisgat Zev. He came to Israel. Mordechai and Esther, Mrs. Lapp, they remained in Babylon, Long Island. So therefore they had to step aside. And Ezra became the acknowledged leader, even though the miracle of Purim happened through what? Mordechai and Esther, but they did not make Aliyah.
They couldn't.
Why couldn't they? After the king dropped dead, the king dropped dead 3 years after the Purim miracle. Esther ran the empire with little baby Darius. She ran the show, and they remained in Babylon. So therefore, who took over the leadership of Klal Yisrael? Ezra. So since the Yidden did do tshuva, accepting the Torah willingly, so God says it's time to what? Go back to the future. Okay? So in the first tablets, the center of the Mem Sofit, and the Samach are suspended miraculously. But since the second tablets were inscribed in Ksav Ivri, the Mem and Samach were totally different letters, and were not suspended miraculously because there wasn't any need. So, the first tablets that God spoke on Shavuos morning, Yehuda, that was what? The original. Moshe broke the first tablets that were written in the exalted script. And on Yom Kippur, we got the second tablets with the changed Alef Bet of the Ksav Ivri. Isn't that amazing? So, was Cecil B. DeMille right?
He was right.
He was right. Because this is the second tablets, Chava. The first tablets were written in the Ksav Ashuris, in the exalted, beautiful, and this explains why Moses saw God putting crowns There's no crowns here. That's the original tablets. The exalted script Ashrei. But when the Jews worshipped the golden calf, God gave us the second tablets written in Ksav what? Ivri. As a sign that our spiritual status has diminished. And as a punishment, God made the Yidden forget the Ksav Ashuris. So after the Chet Egel, Chava, until the days of Ezra, what script were we using? The squiggly Ksav Mishuneh.
400 years.
You hear that? But 2,400 years ago, when there was a new Kabbalah Satorah under Ezra, so God says it's time to what? Bring back Avram, bring back the good old days. These are the good old days. So we did tshuva. We accepted the Torah willingly. No shotgun wedding. Purim. So therefore, God authorized Ezra to what? Bring back the good old days. To change, not to change, to reteach us. And therefore, the handwriting on the wall, Mrs. Lapp, was not the squiggly script. It was what? So only Daniel could read it, because the other Yidden had what? Forgotten it. Only the leaders knew. Mordechai, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, they still remembered the original beautiful script. But the other Yidden had totally forgotten it, Avram. So Daniel had to decipher what? The Ashur script. So you see, it was not invented by Ashur. Otherwise, why couldn't they read it? So it wasn't invented there. It was just reintroduced there. Ashur, Bavel, as a sign of the new Kabbalah Satorah, the Yidden were now worthy, Chava, of what? Of going back to the future. So Ashuris doesn't mean the Assyrian script. It means the exalted script brought back from Ashur and reintroduced by Ezra. By Ezra. The Talmud says in Sanhedrin 23, if God would not have chosen Moses to be the lawgiver, who would be his second choice? Ezra.
So you're saying Ezra was around at the time of Moshe?
No, I didn't say that. I said if God would not have chosen Moses, his second choice would have been Ezra.
Wait for Ezra.
But it would have waited for Ezra. Ezra was a contemporary of Mordechai and Esther 2,400 years ago. So, it says in the Megillah should be written, Rashi quotes the Gemara, B'ksav Ashuris. The Megillah was written up until that time, they were only writing what? The strange squiggly script. Esther, Mordechai were authorized by God to reintroduce the Ksav Ashuris. So the Megillah Esther was the first book to be written what? In Ashuris. And then we went back to the old system. Why were we worthy, Malka? Why? Because Kimu v'kiblu ha-Yehudim, anu Kabbalah Satorah, not shotgun wedding. This time we voluntarily what? Accepted the Torah. So God said, hey, now you're worthy, Lillian, now you're worthy of what? Bring back the good old days. Getting back to the Ksav Ashuris. So all the Yidden did tshuva, Ruvain. Kibu v'kiblu ha-Yehudim, Evelyn. We all became Haredi. That's what it says. How come Mashiach didn't come? We all became Haredi. Kibu v'kiblu ha-Yehudim.
They say it in Babylon.
So the Chabad says because the Rebbe was not born yet.
Okay, you have
No, that's
to
what
be
they say.
careful, don't talk.
No, that's what they said. I'm not joking.
Like, I don't care. It might be
The Rebbe was not Lashon Hara. The Rebbe wasn't born yet. But really, if we all did tshuva and we all what? Became Haredi, why didn't Mashiach come?
They didn't come to Eretz.
So Mickey said why. They all did tshuva, but they remained in Babylon, Long Island.
right.
That's why Mashiach didn't come. Right? You can do tshuva, be Haredi, but if you don't come to Eretz Yisrael, then what? Mashiach is not coming.
So we can forget about it.
Mashiach could have been here 2,400 years ago. if the Yidden would have left Babylon, Long Island. I mean Borough Park. I mean Persia.
We love our balloons.
Huh? We didn't leave, so Mashiach didn't come? That's pretty amazing, Yehuda. We all became frum. Accepted the Torah, worthy to get the Ksav Ashuras back. We could put Charlton Heston to sleep and bring back the beautiful script, and yet Mashiach didn't come because we did not make Aliyah. Isn't that incredible? What? There's an amazing Gemara in Yuma, page 9. You could look it up, Ruvain. The great Rav Shimon ben Lakish was the chief rabbi of Tiberia. Yuma, page 9. And he was bathing in the river, Kinneret. And Rabbi Bar Bachana, the chief rabbi of Babylon, Long Island, came to visit him. And he saw the great rabbi of Tiberia bathing, and he extended a hand, "Here, great rabbi, let me help you out of the water. Here, take a bathrobe." Rav Shimon Lakish says, God hates you. Incredible Gemara. God hates you, Babylonians. That's how you talk to the chief rabbi of Babylon, Long Island. Why does God hate you? So Rashi explains, because if you and your ancestors would have come back in the days of Ezra, the second temple never would have been destroyed. Rav Shimon ben Lakish, like Rav Meir Kahana, Zatzal, tell it like it is. It's not PC, Ruvain, to insult the chief rabbi of Babylon, Long Island. That's not PC. But Shimon ben Lakish told the truth. God hates you. Why does God hate me? You remain in Babylon. You and your ancestors. You would have come back under Ezra. The second temple never would have been destroyed, Malka. And if the second temple never would have been destroyed, Rose, you know what that means? No Holocaust. No terrorism. No pogroms. But you Yidden, said Rav Shimon ben Lakish, you're the chief rabbi, Rabbi Bar Bachana. Why are you in Babylon, Long Island? You're preventing the Messiah from coming. Rav Shimon ben Lakish. Not PC, Avram, not PC. God hates you. I want to help the rabbi out of the river and give him a bathrobe. It says, get away. Shimon ben Lakish, the great Rav Shimon ben Lakish. Huh? So what do we learn from here, Ruvain? We're still making the same mistakes, no, Evelyn? Huh? We're all from, but we don't want to leave Borough Park.
Over and over.
Or Lakewood. I don't know. We just don't learn. We have the beautiful script back. We all did tshuva, but for some reason we have this, I don't know, we're in love with the abomination. 70% of American Jewry voted for the abomination. It's just incredible. 70% of American Jewry, it's just incredible, Ruvain.
Twice.
You know what incredible? Esther went to plead to the king to defend the Jewish people from the Persian madman. 2,400 years later, Bibi is pleading on Tanis Esther to Congress to save the Jewish people from the Persian madman. Coinky dinky, I'm not making this up. Bibi's speech is going to be Tanis Esther.
March 3rd is Tanis Esther.
He is pleading, it's Tanis Esther, he's pleading to Congress to save the Jewish people from the Persian madman. And 2,400 years ago on Tanis Esther, Coinky dinky, she pleaded with the king to save the Jewish people from the Persian madman. Malka, Coinky dinky?
He changed the state of the speech.
He was supposed to speak in February, but he checked the calendar. No, Sharon, it's incredible. No, maybe he's a reincarnation of Esther.
Does he know?
I don't know. Is he a reincarnation of Esther? Evelyn, you never know. It's not a joke. The Ruach Kodesh says that neshamas are AC/DC. The Ruach Kodesh says that neshamas, I'm not making this up, Rose, neshamas are AC/DC. I think you would say bisexual.
No, not bisexual.
Non-gender. In fact, Malka, we're over 40, we can talk, right? Kabbalah. There's a book called Magid Nesharim. That's a diary that Rav Yosef Cairo kept. Avram, for 40 years, he had a Magid, a Malach, coming to teach him Kabbalah on Friday night. So Rivka, for Shabbos night, he had a good memory. He took spirulina. So on Shabbos night, he what? He wrote it down. And it's called Magid Meshorim. The book has been translated into English.
I have it.
This is an account of the Rabbi Yosef Cairo, the one who wrote the Shulchan Aruch. A malach coming for 40 years every Friday night, teaching him Kabbalah. From Friday night to Shabbos night is not that long. So Shabbos night, right after Adol, he took out what? His PC, and he began tick, 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 tick. Right? Living. So the diary, it's translated into English. Incredible. In one lesson, listen to this, Ruvain. Rabbi Yosef Cairo was married many times because he had previous wives who died. His last marriage, he was 79 years old, and his wife was in her late 20s. And he had a child with her at 80. He must have taken a lot of spirulina. Making a plug. Rabbi Yosef Cairo, you can read this in the diary. He married this 27-year-old woman when he was 79, and they had a baby. He had a baby at 80. The Maggid tells him, the Malach tells him, Ruvain, when your 27-year-old Yidina walks into the room, you have to stand up for her. He says, I'm 79 years old. Why do I have to stand up for my 27-year-old wife? So he says, in a previous lifetime, she was a bigger Talmud Chacham than you are. You hear what he told? The Malach said, in a previous lifetime, she was a he. Don't mix me up. She was a greater scholar than you are. And therefore what? Stand up. A 79-year-old Baal Shulchan Aruch has to stand up for a 27-year-old woman. You never know. Some men have like a feminine personality. It's not a joke. And some women have what? A male personality. It's not a joke, Rabbi Yaakov. Neshamas, how do you say in English? Bisexual? No? Slicha. Non-gender. So that will explain, Evelyn, why some women feel masculine and some men feel feminine.
What's the name of the book again?
Who? His wife? Did he tell her? I don't know if he told her, but this was the Malach told him that he has to stand up for her. She probably shocked at what? That an 80-year-old chassan is standing up for her, what? Sarah and Netanyahu, that he's a Gilgal of Esther. I don't know. Pretty amazing. Don't tell her. Shh. Shh.
Do we know for sure?
I don't know, but I'm saying, is it a coincidence that Dafka and Tanis Esther pleaded to the king to save the Jewish people from the Persian maniac, and 24 years later, Netanyahu, on Tanis Esther, is pleading with the king, the Congress, to save the Jewish people from the Persian maniac.
Let's only hope that he's...
Could that be a coincidence?
See all these commercials
What?
that he's making?
As Esther was. Let's hope he's...
Rabbi, tell him to make this commercial.
What? Bibi. I hope he's listening. Bibi, are you listening out there?
No, for
You're the schus of Esther. You'll be successful.
serious.
Pleading with the Congress
He has
to save us from the mad Persian.
He's got two cars going down the street,
Yeah?
and one is ISIS, and they ask the other car, where is Jerusalem?
Right.
And they say left.
Now-
Now, that was the greatest, but this is great. You better pull them up.
Ayatollah Khomeini. Koinky dinky? Ayatollah, English they write kakamemi. But in Persian it's Khomeini. Not kakamemi, that's the New York Times, Avram. You look into Persian, my wife reads Persian. She's from Persia. It's Ayatollah Khomeini. Haman. Khomeini. And the guy now is Ali Khamenei. They write K in English, but it's Khamenei. Koinky dinky, the Ayatollah Khamenei, and this new guy is Ayatollah Khamenei. Haman. Poras. Persia is Iran. We're going back to 2,400 years ago.
Rahmani is actually
Hamani. Haman. Huh? But he'll wind up on the same tree with Haman.
Rabbi,
He'll wind up on the same tree Ayatollah Kakamemi. He'll wind up on the same tree.
What's the name of the book again?
It's called Magid Mesharim.
Mesharim, Magid Mesharim.
It's been translated into English. Amazing. Werblowski, the great scholar, translated into English. His diary was in Hebrew.
Is it for men, learned men to read, or anybody?
Well, it's a diary of the conversation he had with this Malach, Yehuda. Magid Mesharim. Okay? And this is the Shulchan Aruch, Rabbi Yosef Cairo. That's our posek, the Shulchan Aruch.
You can't say that he's not the real thing.
What? He is the real McCoy. He's our posek. It's amazing. In his Shulchan Aruch, he doesn't write any Kabbalah. The great Kabbalist that he was, he keeps it out of halacha. Amazing. Halacha and Kabbalah, they don't mix. But sometimes they do mix, but it's just amazing that in the diary there, he writes more. He writes that Rabbi Yosef, that his son married the Ariyah Kodesh's daughter. They were mechatonim. He was 79. The Ariyah Kodesh died at 38. Wow. So he writes that he made himself a Talmud of the Ari, a 79-year-old man. The great Shulchan Aruch, who wrote the Shulchan Aruch, said, I am a Talmud of the 38-year-old Ari. And he writes, at the Erison party of the son and the daughter, he became a Mechitan to Ari. The Ari spoke such Kabbalah that he fainted. Rav Yosef Cairo fainted from ecstasy when he heard the Ari. Can you imagine? Today you have a 79-year-old rabbi learning by a 38-year-old rabbi and saying, you're my Rebbe? Would you have that today? Could be, right? The great Rav Yosef Cairo.
I want to ask one question about
Go ahead.
the Luchos stuff. In the Aron, they said there was the broken pieces and the whole. So you had both scripts basically in the Aron?
So, very good, Reb Ruvain. Very good. We know that there were two arks. The Talmud Yishalmi says they were two arks. In one ark, they kept what? The broken tablets. And in the second ark, they kept what? The second tablets. Right? So the first tablets that were broken, that was what? In the Ksav Ivri. That was kept. Sure. I'm testing you, see if you're awake. Testing you. Ksav Ashrei.
That's when they took the battle.
Now, when they went out to battle, they usually took which? The broken tablets. The broken tablets. Right? But Rashi tells us that in the days of Eli, why was the ark captured, Evelyn? They took the wrong box. They got famished. They didn't take the spirulina that morning. They, it helps the memory too. And they took the wrong box, and as a punishment, Rashi tells us, therefore the ark was captured by the Plishtim. And then it was brought back. They got hemorrhoids, remember? They sent it back. Right, that's right, right? They could have preparation H. They had a lot. No, look at the book of Samuel. They suffered terrible hemorrhoids, and they sent the ark back. But Rashi, as a punishment, we took the wrong ark. You're supposed to take the ark to war with the broken tablets. And they took, with the whole tablets, they got famished, and they were punished. The ark was captured.
They took the ones with the second tablet.
Right, and you're supposed to just take the broken tablets.
For a whole 400
right?
years,
So,
for a whole 40 years, they didn't have any tags or anything.
what?
The first
In
temple
the second temple, the first temple period, they only had what?
the second tablet.
They used this, Charlton Heston, right? It's amazing that he figured it out. You can read it. It says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. I figured it out, Ruth. It's amazing. The guy, Cecil B. DeMille, was a genius. He wrote it in the script, and it says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. They must have heard my shir in 1956. I don't think they must have heard my shir. It's just amazing. Right. A lot of great rabbis were consulted on this movie, which was done very well. The little baby Moses, by the way, was Charlton Heston's little baby. Little hardship. Yeah, little Charlton Heston's little baby. He was the baby Moses, okay? So, anyway, where was I? What?
Did he become about Tshuva?
Who?
Charlton
He wasn't Jewish.
Wasn't?
No. He wasn't Jewish. Cecil B. DeMille was not Jewish. But the owner of the studio, what's his name? Of course, they were Jews, right? Metron Golden Mayer. They were Jewish.
Louis B. Mayer.
Louis B. Mayer, right?
Rabbi?
Yes.
Do you remember the name of Charles Heston's son? I think it was Fraser Heston.
Yeah, Fraser. That's right. Yeah. It says in the cast, Fraser, baby Fraser Heston. You had a good memory, Ruvain. 1956. I was 6 years old. I'm dating myself. But anyway, so what's the bottom line? The bottom line is that what? We have to encourage our brethren in Babylon, Long Island to what?
Leave.
Come on home.
Well, what about the expression we always heard, on the wings of angels, God will bring us all back?
That's El.
When Mashiach comes here.
That's the wing. I'm not joking. The 747 has big wings.
Right, but
That's what it means.
It's supposed to bring the ones.
You're not
who
listening
are
to me.
here.
That's El. God works through human agents.
Let's see it.
God was speaking about the giant 747s. They have pretty big wings.
Anyway,
Yes?
Can I answer that?
sure.
Go ahead.
When I was in Florida, because every year my husband and I had to go down and take care of my mother. Okay? We were only there temporarily. We lived in Israel. But I had a very lovely rabbi. And I said to him one day, what would you make Aliyah? He says, he says, Mashiach will bring us. I said, did you ever think, Rabbi, that if you all came, you'd bring Mashiach? He said, you're right.
The Vilna Gaon said, Mekimia, the Vilna Gaon said to his Talmidim, Mashiach cannot come until the Jews of Shmutz Lawrence make Aliyah.
So
The Vilna Gaon. Therefore, his Talmidim came here. And he himself tried to come. He was shipwrecked, captured by pirates. But his Talmidim did come here in 1801, Abraham. He said Mashiach cannot come until the Yidden of Chutz La'aretz make Aliyah. The Vilna Gaon said that. I think he was a Zionist. Would you say? Or
Yeah, Vilna Gaon was a
the Vilna Gaon was a great Zionist.
Many of his descendants came here.
They came here. Many of his Talmidim came here.
Yes.
Yes.
Tirza Judkowitz said last week in Rabbi Barrow's class,
Yeah.
one of her relatives or friends, their son went to Rav Kanievsky
Yeah.
to ask him a question.
Yeah.
Before they could ask the question, Rav Kanievsky said to this boy,
Yeah.
tell your family, everybody, your family, your friends, to sell everything, move to Israel. Mashiach ben Yosef is here. Mashiach is coming.
See that?
Sell out and come.
Sell out. Thank you very much.
Good.
Shalom. Shalom.
And if anyone